welcome to episode 19 of Slapendipity, Hobos of Happy Slappy Town. My name is Devin, but you can call me Gibby, and I'm here with Eric, who you can call Eric.
Hello. Pleasure as always.
Pleasure as always. Now, last week I started with a long list of complaints, a laundry list, you might say, of complaints about mailmen, and basically my issue with the post office. I will say, all of those stories have so far had happy endings. I've received the packages I asked for. They all came into the mail. Oh my god, it's wonderful. I am no longer hating the government, at least for the mail post office.
I mean, that's a plus. So, based off the laundry list, my new assumption is that you will be complaining about laundry in some capacity. I am hoping my prediction of construction workers is right, and then I get a bingo.
Okay, so I wasn't gonna go on the construction worker rant, but I can. We had, and
Bingo!
it's not entirely their fault. Actually, I take that back. It definitely is. Okay, so I went to a a dental appointment. Technically, I think they're called a pediodontist. What is something for like gums and like other mouth stuff that's not just your teeth, right? Like it wasn't a dentist. It was like a gum specialist, periodontist. I think that's the
Um,
word. Have you ever had a mouth surgery thing? I don't know. You didn't have braces, right?
I didn't have braces. I did have expanders. Sometimes they were also known as spacers.
Mm.
Just to like if braces are to correct the alignment, spacers are to make space in your mouth to
Okay.
for like incoming teeth and stuff. I also have wisdom teeth surgery, so
Okay, so I never had braces, and I also did not get my wisdom teeth out. When did you get yours out? Like, was that like a whole experience for
wisdom.
you? Yeah.
I think I got it out at like I don't know, 18. I think I might have been like, last year of high school, maybe 1 year after of it or so. It was kind of brutal because I made it brutal for myself because I was becoming aware of like money. And so I told them I didn't want laughing gas or to put me out or anything. Just give me what they legally had to. And then I just stayed awake for it. And
I
the dentist
could
got annoyed at
never.
me.
I could
Uh,
never. So
it,
I,
it,
oh my god.
it wasn't great, but
The reason I was going to the periodontist was because I potentially needed some gum surgery. I'm not gonna get it, don't need it. Thrilled about that. But when I
whew,
first went to a specialist, they were like, "Hey, so this is the procedure. This is what we do. We might put you under whatever." And when I left that appointment, I was just like, "They better put me under. Ain't no way,
mm,
no way I could sit there conscious, with my mouth open for that long, knowing like that they're tearing up my gums. It's one thing like I had a root canal once. It's one thing for
yeah.
them to drill into my tooth. It's another if they're cutting my skin. Like no way, no way. So I 100% like I was not going to do it unless I could go under. With that said, I've never been under before, and I was terrified. I literally spoke to like everybody I work with and some like my family and been like, "Have you ever been under before? What was it like?" Because it scared me. But no, there's no way I'd ever have a procedure like that and not go under.
Yeah, that one sounds kind of brutal, but going under is kind of fun.
Hmm.
It,
Have you
you
done
get
it
a
for
real
other?
life. Yeah, yeah, I got it for some of the various surgeries.
Mm-hmm.
Two surgeries really. Um, it's just a time skip. You do the countdown, right? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and then you just fall asleep. And then what at least for me, it felt like literal seconds. Like I just woke up in the recovery room. And I was just like, oh, huh,
There are some
wild.
people who are like, okay, so like technically what happens is like you go under and they did the procedure and then at some point you wake up and then
Yes.
like you get conked out again. Not like with drugs, you just like fall asleep again and when you wake up the second time you don't remember the first time.
Hmm.
And that gives me existential dread right? Like whenever I'm like watching a movie or reading something and there's like any amount of like mind wiping going on, right? Like you're watching some fantasy sci-fi TV series and they're traveling to an alternate timeline and the person's like, when you go back in time, I'm going to forget all the memories of this horrible evil world and everything will be good again. I'm just like, yeah, obviously I'd want to undo this bad future, but at the same time, the idea that once this person steps into the time machine, I'm going to lose all my memories, like, that scares me. The idea that I
Hmm.
know going into the surgery, there's going to be a period of time in which I am awake and conscious and able to do things, but that I won't remember them, that just gives me shivers. Although, to be fair, I guess normal people have more of a experience with that because that happens if you're, like, blackout drunk, which I've never been.
Hmm. Yeah. I think that, I mean, you also aren't really awake for any surgery that puts you out. Like, I guess you're awake and before the countdown, but it's not like you'd want to remember them like making incisions into you and everything.
I don't mean, like, being asleep for the surgery. I mean, like, periods after where, like, you come to and then fall asleep again, where, like, you're
Just
awake
don't
but
do
you don't
that.
remember them. Oh
No,
my
just
god.
don't have that happen. It didn't
Yeah.
happen with me. Just
Well,
don't have that happen.
if you think it, you think so. You think it didn't happen with you. How would you remember?
Uh, because I have nothing else to go off on other than that. As far as I know, it didn't happen, so it didn't. I mean, I don't have proof, and I'll never know, short of getting the video footage from the hospital, which I
Hmm.
feel like they would be like, no, that's silly.
You don't have to go into detail, but have you ever been blackout drunk?
No,
Okay.
I can recall every time that I have been drunk, which is only like you can count it on one hand.
Hmm.
I don't. I would rather spend my money on like video games or manga or anime subscriptions.
Oh my god.
Um,
Nothing. No response.
yeah, no response.
There are very easy ways of getting very cheap alcohol if your desire was to get drunk.
Oh, I mean, sure. I just don't care.
Yes,
I
that's the
don't see the
better
point.
answer. You don't want to, as opposed to no kids, don't get drunk, save your money for anime.
I mean, A, save your money for anime. B, yeah, I don't know. It is. I'll do it socially, but like I feel like that's the only time you realistically can. Like what? I don't want to drink alone by myself
Yeah, that would be
and
no
make
good.
that a habit.
Hmm.
But if I'm at a party or whatever, or if it's just me and a couple friends, like, hey, you want to have a drink? Yeah, okay. But then you're like, yeah, you're gonna have a drink, maybe two,
Hmm.
and I need like at least six, depending on the drink, to feel anything.
All right, so I guess I should get back to my dentist story, which is segueing into my construction worker story. So I'm
Yeah.
driving to this new dental location to get the consultation for the surgery I don't end up getting. And I've never been there before. It's like in a different county. It's not in Happy Slappy Town. And the storefront, the dental storefront is on it leads out to a sidewalk, right? There's no parking lot. Like it's all street parking. So I'm using my GPS to get there, and I'm driving, and then it's like, hey, it's on your left, and then I just pass it because I'm like on
Mm.
the main street and it's just on a side thing. I'm like, okay, now I need to find street parking. Uh-oh, I drove 7 feet too far, and now I'm like at an intersection, and now I'm in a residential neighborhood, and now there's like a whatever and a whatever. So like I can't there's no street parking where I am. There's no parking lots. So I need to somehow turn around and find myself back where I just was. As it turns out, there's only street parking on one side of the road. So not only do I
Right.
need to get back to where I was, but I then need to do the loop again to park on the correct side of the street, which is where I came from originally. So that sucked. But I decide, hey, I'm just going to turn into this residential neighborhood and try to turn around. The
Okay.
residential neighborhood it's a grid system of smaller houses, and all of the streets were one-way streets. So I enter into this maze, and my goal is to basically circle back around through the town to get back to where I was in the beginning, so then I could go to the dental place. So I need to navigate the neighborhood to go straight through the town. Unfortunately, while you could assume that you could just do a straight shot, right? I'm now facing the correct direction. I need to go in that direction for a while. Most of the one-way roads were closed. I traveled straight and
Mm.
came upon a cop car with a road closed sign because they're doing construction. And I can't turn right because it's a one-way street, so I turn left and I go down. So now I'm going in the wrong direction. So I know I need to make the next right so I can get back on track. I get to another intersection. There is no right turn. There's only a straight and a left because it's a one-way street. And the straight is now another closed road. So now I'm traveling left, going in the wrong direction. And I really feel like I'm a rat in a maze. I'm like, I now need to make two rights because I'm going in the exact opposite direction, but I need to hope that it's on a one-way street that goes in that direction that does not lead to another dead end. And I don't want to over dramatize it, but there were 4 dead ends. There were 4 actually this road is closed for construction with a cop car parked right next to it. And I
Abe.
could only take every other road because it was one-way intersections. And so I finally loop all the way back around to get to the beginning of the town, get back on the main street, go, and I park across from the dental place, go in, get my dentist. Oh my god, I don't need surgery. So fun. Get back in my car. Realize that the only way to turn around is to do the exact trek that I just did again, so I could now face the right direction and go home. So I then had to do the maze a second time. So it's not so much that construction workers were like being rude to me, sitting there with their hand sandwiches, waving their fists around. It's more that whoever planned out the construction in this neighborhood to all happen at the same time while I was over there made it basically impossible for me to go straight. I had to
Mm.
loop back around and turn left and turn right and go, oh my god, it was so annoying, and I cannot imagine living there and being like, oh, it's a straight drive to my house. No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
Mm.
You gotta go the wrong way. And the GPS couldn't help, obviously, because they were temporarily closed roads. So
Yeah.
yes, that is my how construction workers pissed me off this week story. Your bingo prediction from the end of last episode was correct.
Hooray. Also, that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you just make 4 lefts? I mean, obviously it would have just set you back to where you were, but like
Yeah,
that's
because
how you know of like
that would have just brought me
but
back to the closed street.
yeah, but then you could like then you could have tried leaving the maze that you were in.
No, it was no
Like if
good.
you make enough lefts and then just exit and then, try turning around somewhere else.
Oh, like they're like drive down the main street the other direction. There was no other else.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, no fun. I mean, I'm sure there was, but I had no GPS and I'm not familiar with the area. So yeah, that was that was that. Very cool.
Wow, very cool. And it's cool, I guess, that you don't need surgery.
Yes.
Hooray.
Yay.
Well, that's beautiful.
It's a beautiful story of heroism, if I do say so myself. I've never before experienced challenges like this, but I think in overcoming them, I've become a stronger person.
I
I think
can see it on your biceps. It
I think
says
I deserve an
strong.
award. Oh my god. All those left and right turns, yeah, they really brought out my muscles. I'm now stronger.
I had a similar thing happen, I guess.
What
I had
similar thing
to
happened, you guess?
I had to drop off some people and for their little vacation, and I had to go into I also had to leave, our little slice of bridge and, ventured into uh this New York city, if you will. And man, it just sucks driving in that city. I mean, any big city kind of sucks driving in because it's just people don't care. People are bad drivers. Pedestrians think they can do whatever they want. It was just like, ugh, ugh. People honk at you all the time, and it's like, you smug son of a gun. There is another car coming from the other direction. I'm not going into oncoming traffic. But
All right, are you excited for our trip into Brooklyn next month?
we're going to Brooklyn next
Did
month?
you forget that you agreed to that?
No,
Okay.
definitely not.
We're going to see a movie.
Yeah, that's right. A movie.
You say that all suspiciously, but no, we're going to a world premiere film in Brooklyn that we have tickets for, and we're gonna have to figure out how to navigate that.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's what trains are for.
Yeah, we might have to do like a lot of walking, but I think that not and literally, and you can ask this of like anyone who has to go into the city a lot. Anything to avoid driving your car into New York City is ideal, is
Yeah,
preferable.
yeah. I'd rather just walk from not the city into the city. I would walk for 10 hours to not drive in the city. It's such a I remember one time in the past when you and I were in the city and with some people, and the driver, we were in bumper to bumper traffic, and the driver that we were in, he put the car in park, ran out to a store so he could go to the bathroom, came back into the car to drive it, and like half a foot had passed, if that.
Yes, by
And
the
like,
time he was running back to the driver's seat, the car in front of us had like started moving. So like ideally
yeah,
we could have rolled forward, but yes, nothing no progress had been
literally
made.
nothing happened. He took like, kudos to him. He took like 3 minutes, if that. Uh, but just like that's traffic for you in the city.
That's what happens when you're trying to leave Yankee Stadium right after a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had before that happened, we were basically parked in the like parking garage right next to the exit. Right? You leave our spot, you make a right turn, you're out.
Yes.
This lady comes over and basically starts waving us in the other direction. Like actually you have to take a left, merge with this other lane that's leaving and circle all the way around the entire parking garage to get to the exit.
Hmm.
And the driver was like, "No," made a sharp right around the woman, hopped a divider, like one of those concrete things on the ground that's like supposed to stop you from parking, in places. Hopped that, got to the front of the queue, and we zoomed out. And I'm like, "Yep, I wouldn't have done that." But I am glad that you did.
Yeah. Yeah. Good time. Good time.
You know what's not good times, Eric?
What's not good time, Stefan?
I don't like surprise parties.
Okay.
I would not enjoy if someone threw me a surprise party. I've had that in my notes to talk about here for um, months at this point, and I wanted to get your opinion because I strongly despise them by the very concept.
Um, I guess I don't know. No one's ever thrown me a surprise party.
Have you ever been part of someone else's surprise party?
No.
Oh, I have. They're no
So
fun. They're stupid.
what don't you like about them?
As an attendee, as someone who like, oh, I have to get there and then whatever. it just puts a lot of pressure on you as the attendee, to not ruin the surprise, I guess, right? Like, not only up to the event do you have to remember to not let it slip to the person whose party it is, but I had a situation where, like, I was there and then, like, the person texted me, and I was like,
Mm.
I should not answer at all, I guess, unless that would be too suspicious to not answer, right? It's just like, as one of the 40 people there who was just like roped into the whole situation, we're all ducked behind a curtain waiting for them to walk in. I'm like, if I do the wrong thing, I ruin it for everyone, and that's just too much pressure to put on me going to a party. I also couldn't imagine, like, planning one, because, like, it involves a serious amount of deception, right? Like, if you're throwing it for your significant other or one of your friends, right? Like, not only do you have to plan everything behind their back, but you also have to, like, convince all of the people going to go along with you. And I would not be able to do that. I would not be able to go to 40 people and be like, okay, so for the next couple weeks, I need you to lie to someone for me.
I mean, some of this I get, some of this I think it's just like, are you lying to someone? Yeah, but it's like a small white lie. No one would care. No one would mind. It's fine. Unless you're like, oh, actually, my grandfather is dying. I can't hang out with you that day. Like,
But
then yes.
but like that stuff comes up, right? Like they'll be like, "Hey, do you want to hang out on the 23rd?" And I'll be like, "No, I'm busy that day." And then they'll go to our other friend, "Hey, I have nothing to do the 23rd. Do you want to do something?" And they have to be like, "No." And then there's like a conspiracy afoot, and there is.
Well, no, but that's why you go, hey, we're gonna hang out on the 23rd. Just like keep your calendar closed on that day and like just leave it to me.
Well, typically that's what the person throwing the party does, right? They'll be like, "Oh, we'll go out to dinner that day. That'll be our thing." And then it turns out, oops, it's not dinner. It's a party. It's a surprise party.
Yeah. But like if that's how the person throwing it goes, the person the party is for shouldn't be going to other people like, "Hey, do you want to hang out the 23rd?" even though someone literally just told them don't make other plans.
Okay, but like imagine it's their birthday, right? And your buddy comes to
Yeah.
you and he's like, "Yeah, I guess, we're not really doing a big thing for my birthday this year. I'm just going out to dinner with the missus. You want to play some Counter-Strike after we get home?" And I have to be like, haha, no, because I can't tell them that we're going to be throwing a rager that night for their birthday.
Shrug. I think it's just more complicated than you're making it out to be.
It is more complicated than I'm making it out to be. You're right.
No, it's less complicated. Dang it. No.
I finally, me and Eric agree on something. All right, leave in the
No,
comments
it's less
below
complicated. It's less
how
complicated.
much you hate being part of surprise parties.
I don't know.
Uh,
You don't just don't think about it that much.
oh my god.
Just
Another
be like,
large,
"Hey, no," or "Hey, yes." I think to an
another.
extent as well. I'm sorry.
No, 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 no. You're gonna cut out both of
I'll
my
finish this
reactions
up.
in this conversation, and then you're gonna
I'm
just
just
continue by muting my audio.
I'm s- uh, uh, hee hee. I think people are also aware enough to like catch on to things to be like, "Hey, we're gonna hang out, but don't plan anything else for this day and don't ask any questions about it." Like, I imagine most people are like, "Cool, surprise party."
Well, yeah, and that's why. So I have some thoughts about, like, I never want it to happen to me, but I'm like, okay, if I suspect that someone's throwing me a surprise party, there's two options. One, I'm wrong and I get seriously disappointed, and what I was assuming would be a surprise party is just dinner, and there is no party, and then I don't get a party. And best case scenario, I now have a party that I wasn't able to prepare for. I have to pretend I don't know what's happening. And the surprise, all this work and effort people put into it doesn't pay off because I'm not really surprised. And another part is, like, if it's my party, I kind of want it to, like, be things that I enjoy, right? I'd love to be like, hey, I want the cake to be vanilla with lemon frosting because that's my favorite. But if they can't ask me what cake I want because it's a surprise, they're going to get the wrong cake.
I
And
mean,
so
presumably they just know you well enough to know that.
I'm just saying either worst case scenario, you're disappointed because there's no party. Best case scenario, it's a subpar party that you weren't able to get hyped for.
No, but it can be an amazing party. If you have really good friends, someone's like, "Oh, let's get a chocolate cake." And you go, "No, Devin likes vanilla with lemon frosting."
Which I do.
And and then that's the cake that happens. And then you apply that to every other situation. "Oh, let's play pin the tail on the donkey." No, Devin would rather play a trivia game.
That just brought back this core childhood memory. My father took like a square of sheetrock and he painted a rabbit on it, and so we would do pin the tail on the rabbit. It was like tape the tail on the rabbit.
Mm,
And I just recalled that this was a thing that existed, and like the rabbit was scary looking. Um,
okay.
I wish I had a picture. I might ask my mother if we still have a picture of it because I can remember it so vividly.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, no, you just reminded me of this memory I forgot I had. Pin the tail on the rabbit. It was no good.
well,
But yeah, I
that
guess like
rabbit's probably dead now.
the rabbit's probably dead. Well, yeah, it was missing its tail. I would never ever ever want a surprise party thrown for me because I just feel like it's almost like too much pressure to perform as the person who's supposed to be enjoying the party.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like if I'm going out to dinner or if I'm going to a party, I'm going to be dressed differently. I'm going to make sure my
Mm-hmm.
phone is charged. I'm going to like be expecting a different sort of situation and then be like,
Sure.
"Oh, well, I didn't prepare for this." And then again, it's just going to be a subpar experience. Um I kind of related, I guess, to like giving presents, right? Like if I go to you and I'm like, Eric, what do you want for your birthday? And you tell me exactly what you want for your birthday, you're going to get like the ideal present because you're going to get exactly what
Mm-hmm.
you want. If I just totally take a wild guess in the dark about what you want, I might get you something that's not good. Or if I go to you, the middle ground that a lot of people do, think like Christmas lists, right? If I go to
Yeah.
you and I'm like, give me a list of 5 things, and you give me a list of 5 things, you're going to be sitting there like, oh man, I hope he gets the one I want the most. So if I do get the one you want the most, there's no surprise. And if I don't, then you're just disappointed.
No, I mean, I on an internal level, maybe, sure, but like you, the person receiving the gift should also be happy that they got a gift at all, and that the thought that counts, etc., and the friendship along the way, all that stuff. Like I remember when I was a child and I had a birthday party, and it was me and like my one friend, and then it was just my family. And he gave me this like military tank rover toy thing, and I did not like it. I
Oh,
didn't like it so much I cried about it, and my dad pulled me away and was like, "Stop it. Like, your friend got you a nice gift. It doesn't, like, you can still have fun with it. It's not the thing that you thought you were gonna get, or it's not the thing that you wanted, but it's still a nice, thoughtful gift that your friend got for you, and you can still have a good time with it." And so then we went outside and played with it, and I had a good time with it.
wow.
So, but I think it's just that mindset. If you come up to me and you're like, "Eric, what gift do you want?" and I give you a list, or if I give you this specific gift or whatever, but then it's you get me something else, I go, "Wow, this isn't the thing that I thought I was gonna get or that I wanted the most, but Devin still got it for me, and I can still have a good time with this." And then you do.
So my parents had a rule when we were younger, which is that like if you're having a kid's birthday party, right? Like, oh, all 10, 15 of their friends are over and you're all playing games and they give presents and you have cake. we never opened the presents during the party, because
Mm,
if you open a present from one kid and it's dumb and you don't care, and then you open a present from another kid and it's so much better and you're more excited, you're gonna hurt the feelings of the other kid. So
mm,
it was a rule. It was always you open the presents after the party. You never do it in front of the children who are giving the gifts. And I
mm.
think that that is a much better way of doing it. Like I that is how I will
Interesting.
do it when I am an adult, because yeah, like you can't trust the 6-year-old isn't going to be rude about like this present's stupid in front of the kid who gave it to him.
Sure. I mean, I think then it just, you know, it depends, right? Like, I think it worked in the situation that I had because it was like just me and my one friend, right? Like, why wouldn't you open your present?
Yeah.
And then, as long as you're a good parent, you drag your child
Oh
away
Lord.
and you talk some sense into them.
Oh God.
Um, I get in the context of like, there is a room full of children and like the birthday boy or girl or non is like, uh, this sucks. I hate this. Then it's like, yeah, that's kind of awkward. But you could turn that into a teaching moment. So like, shrug.
And then a teaching moment for that child to grow up and share on a podcast.
Wow.
I'm currently going back and thinking through so many like stories about birthdays and birthday parties, but I think we should wait until later to talk about those. In fact, I think that we should go to break right now.
Can I just say one thing really quick?
Sure.
I have never been part of a surprise party or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I have been part of a bachelor party. And let
Mm-hmm.
me tell you, as the person who had to do the planning for it, mostly self-inflicted,
Mm-hmm.
um, there are days where I'm just like, did I do a good job?
Like still?
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
The amount I tried to do so much with it, and certain things just kind of fumbled and would and to this day I'm like, was that the party for me or was that the party for them? They liked everything about it. We have similar tastes, so like I think it's fine. But also it's been like 3 years now or something. It doesn't matter anymore. But it's like what if and now it haunts me occasionally. So anyway, LeGrand Chase is gonna chase us away from here.
We'll see you guys in a minute. Hello, everyone, and welcome back from LeGrand Chase. Welcome to our mailbag segment where me and Eric sit here eating our can of beans in front of the fire and we open all the letters that we've received over the last couple of days.
I got baked beans.
You got baked beans, I got jelly beans, we're just vibing.
Yes.
All right, so mail number 1 from Sophie. Good afternoon, guys. This year I'm flying abroad for my next birthday. Do either of you have any, be it hilarious or humbling, birthday stories?
Boy, do I have an episode for you.
I was about to launch into another story about birthday presents, and I was like, "Oh wait, I think we might have a letter about this later. Let's go to break."
LOL.
So the story I was about to tell before we went to break, I don't remember how old I was. It must have been like in the 9, 10, 11 range. And I was at my house and it was like my birthday, and I remember one of my uncles was over. So it was like me, my parents, my brothers, my uncle. And okay, I'm opening a birthday present and it's from my dad. And I start unwrapping it. It's a really weird shape. And I can see it's this odd curved plastic thing that's coming out of the package. And my first thought was, oh my god, it looks just like the weapon that the pink Power Ranger uses in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Okay, okay.
Do you know what the weapon the Pink Power Ranger uses in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is?
A bow?
Yeah, it's a bow. But in the show, she can like take it and like hit people with the bow, and the arrow for it is like comically large, and there's all these like glowing bits on it, and it looks like a real bow, right? Like a real like war adult bow with like cool shiny things on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm opening and I go, oh my god, like I've like this is so cool. Like I really wanted this because I would have loved any of the Power Ranger weapons or any of the Ninja Turtle weapons or like anything like that I can start smacking stuff with. So I'm imagining, it's gonna be this pink neon with black accents, cool, sharp, edgy bow with a big arrow I can go whack things with. And I finish unwrapping it, and it's a normal toy bow, but the string's not on it yet. So it's literally just this vaguely curved bow thing, and there's no accents, there's no spiky bits. It's literally just like a piece of plastic. And so I
Mm-hmm.
open it and I go, oh my god, I always wanted this. And I open it and I go, what is it? And like my dad and uncle start laughing. And I knew even right then that their thoughts were like, oh, tee hee, oh, Devin. He knows that a thing to say when you're opening a present is like, oh my god, it's so cool. Oh my god, I've always wanted it. But he doesn't actually know what it is, so he only said that to be polite. And I still think about it 20 years later, where I'm like, no,
Balls.
I did know what it was. I thought it was the bow from the Power Rangers, and it is a bow, but it's not from the Power Rangers, and the string wasn't on it yet, so I wasn't sure it was a bow. I was correct. I did want it. And just, thinking about birthdays, it was like bringing back this trauma of like, I wasn't fake being polite. I was actually excited for this toy bow.
LOL. That's pretty funny.
I still feel like I did something wrong, even though like obviously at the time my dad and uncle thought it was like funny or cute. But I'm like, I didn't do
Right.
it wrong. I was right.
LOL.
You have any
Dang.
other birthday stories?
Um, well, I have an adult story where for one of my birthdays when I was like 21 or 22 or something, I went down to see my brother, celebrate with him. And he was like, you're like, you can drink. Let's get you to some bars. And I was like, okay. And so him and one of his roommates and I went to some bars. We went and had some drinks, and it was a cool, chill time. But it was one of the first times I really did like a pub crawl, um, or a bar crawl, whatever. And so I, I think we went to like three or four, and then I was just like, bleh. I didn't throw up or anything, but I become a tired drunk, which is also part of the reason I don't feel the need to drink, is I just get tired. What's the point? Um, but so I didn't know that about myself yet. So, I had however many drinks, and then we were like, okay, now we have to walk home. And I was like, what? So then we not literally, but crawled our way home, snail's pace. And my brother and his roommate were just like, "You're not gonna throw up, right? You're good." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine," which I was. I didn't. Um, and we finally made it back to the apartment, and I just plopped myself down on the floor. And they were just like, "What's wrong? Are you sure you're good?" And I was like, "No, man, the floor is just so comfortable," which it is. Um, and that's basically how my night ended. I may or may not have been told to not take the turtle out of the cage that it was in, which I didn't.
Oh my god.
Yes,
You drunk texted us that night. I remember this.
I
You were
did.
obsessed with this turtle.
Yeah, that he was racist.
Yes, you're just like,
Iggy the
OMG, this
racist
turtle is so
turtle.
racist. Iggy, oh my god, I remember this. This was forever ago.
Yeah, yeah. The reason that Iggy was deemed racist is because the roommate that went with my brother and I was black, and
Mhm.
he had other roommates as well. This was like one of the girls is turtles, or it was like her friends or something, I don't know. And so everyone was white except for this one roommate. And every time, they all kind of took care of the turtle, right? It was obviously the one roommate's turtle more so than anyone else's, but like, hey, I'm running late. Can you feed Iggy? Sure. So everyone would go to feed Iggy, and he would just be like, nom, 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 food. And then this roommate would go feed Iggy, and he would swim away and just stay hidden until he walked away. And that was not like a one-time thing. That was every time he tried to feed Iggy, the racist turtle. And when they had brought friends over, right, or whatever, if someone was like Hispanic, or just another color that wasn't white, the turtle would just swim away from them. So naturally, he was racist.
That is quite the humorous story. From my end, I just remember
Yes.
getting text from you because like you didn't drink, right? Like you didn't get intoxicated. So just you texting incoherently about this turtle, like you're like, this turtle's awesome. And we're like, what? And you're
Yeah.
like, yeah, Iggy the turtle. And we're like, what are you talking? Like, aren't you like in a different state right now? Like, what's going on? And you're like, it's a little racist though. We're like, oh, okay. And then picking up
Yeah.
later on the fact that you were mildly intoxicated. Quite
No,
the formative Eric experience.
I remember you guys found out I was intoxicated while I was messaging that, because you guys went, haha, this is going to make for a good story when Eric doesn't remember any of this. And I went, I can remember it. I'll remember it now because I'm not so far gone. Like, this is fine. Like, I can be fine if I want to be. I'm just leaning into the fact that I'm intoxicated. And y'all were like, haha, this is going to make it even more funny. So then I typed in perfect grammar and punctuation and stuff, and then none of you guys said anything about it. And I was like, this sucks.
Oh. I don't know if we would still have a screenshot of that, but that is so funny. And that would have
I have
been
no
what,
idea.
like 7 years ago? Like
At
forever ago.
least.
Yeah, wow.
Around 2016, if you will.
Yeah, 2016, where every single story we have takes place.
Yeah. Um, so my little piece of advice to Sophie is, you're flying out for your birthday. Don't get too drunk. You will have to walk back
Hmm.
in some capacity. So
Yeah, she just says she's going abroad. I don't know like where that is, but if you're going to America, just remember America's big. We got big streets with nothing on them. If you're going to a bar, there might be lots of walking.
if you're going to the sidewalks are also kind of garbage. If you're going to Europe, from what I hear, pedestrians are uh, like the cities are more built for pedestrians. So enjoy that. If you're going to Asia, maybe learn a little bit of the language if you don't know it already. I guess you should do that no matter where you travel.
We could just speak the language of Earth, English.
Yeah, but not everywhere speaks English.
I know, I
Imagine if
know.
she's going into
Was
the
just
Arctic.
joking. I was just joking. The real language of Earth is American.
The polar bears haven't learned that yet.
Well, how do you think they got their brand deal with Coke?
Dang it!
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
so
They signed.
right.
They must have signed the contract with something. It definitely wasn't written in polar bearese.
Oh no.
Okay. We're gonna move on to Sophie's next question. So she wrote a very nice email talking about how much the podcast means to her. It's very nice. But I'm going to go to the question at the bottom. I'm going to say the first one's for you because a couple episodes ago I said that my favorite word in the English language, as I determined when I was in high school, was the name Sophie or like Sophia, right? Like those sounding
Yeah.
names. But you didn't say what your favorite word is. So Eric, do you have a favorite sounding word?
Devin, not only do I, you know them.
Oh no, I do know them.
So I have two. One, they're for different things, One is floxinosity hillyfillification, which is a real word. It is the action or habit of judging something or someone as worthless. And it's just beautiful to me. If you want to look it up, it starts with FLOCCIN, and then Google handles the rest. It
I've tr
is pretty phonetic,
I've
though.
tried
So
over the years to be like, Eric, what's the one word you like? The silly Philly one? And I've never been able to say it all like in full, but like you can just like sprout it off.
yeah, yeah. Do you philoxenosity hillyfillificate the word floxinosity hillyfillification?
I do think it's kind of worthless, yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
How dare you?
I'm
Um.
phenoxifying it.
No. Um. I think another good one is defenestrate, which is to throw something or someone out of a window. It's got that value to it. Like, I'm gonna throw you out a window, man. No, I'm gonna defenestrate you.
I
And then
think
people don't know what it means.
yeah. It's so funny because like I do hear people use that in conversation with the assumption that other people do know what it means. Like it's gotten to the point where I think it is a commonly
Yeah,
enough used word, especially in like video essays on YouTube. I think
yeah.
what's so appealing about it to me is that it sounds so serious. It sounds
Mm,
so like an industrial term, or it sounds like something that would happen in like politics, right? Like you're defenestrating someone, and then to know that it means to throw them out a window. That's a little like it's a little on the goofy side, a little on the quirky, silly side. And so going from the serious sounding of the word to the funny image, the meme image where the guy gets thrown out of the building, of someone going through a window, is just funny to me.
if I'm not mistaken, which I could be, part of the thing that like made it so big is the defenestration of Prague, which is a real event where, if I'm again not mistaken, I could be, there was a in Prague, some tax collectors or the government was gonna like raise taxes or whatever, and so they met with the local government, the little council of people, and they were like, "This is our plans. You're gonna pay us, 20% more taxes or whatever," and the response was to throw them out of a window. Um, Good times, good times.
Do you happen to know what like the um okay, so I'm trying to find the etymology of the word. So Google says um the correct definition is to remove or dismiss someone from a position of power or authority, and then it says a rare definition to throw someone out of a window. I have only ever heard it in the context of throwing someone out of a window.
Same.
That's crazy.
Google could be lying to us.
Yeah.
I don't
Like
fully trust them anymore.
after like their oh my god, they're stupid the integration of their AI thing at the top of any search
Yeah.
results now. Like I ran into that like the day before it blew up, obviously, because like it had to exist for a day and then people started making funny videos and posts about it. Um but I wanted to find the budget of the movie The Watchers, the horror movie that just came
Hmm.
out, and it said the budget of the movie The Watchers is $290 million, making it one of the costlier films in the MCU. And I was just like, what?
Hmm. Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
no, this is just wrong.
No, so the Watchers is part of the MCU because it starts the parallel timelines arc.
Hmm. Yeah, and not the multiverse saga. It's the time travel saga, and it's going to
Yeah.
take place exclusively in the woods of Ireland to cut down on costs.
Yeah.
All right. So Sophie's second part of this question is what our favorite curse words are. Um, mine's easy. Mine is
Ooh.
easy. I don't curse.
Yeah, you
Your
don't
turn.
have one. But you could like try.
I could
Like,
try.
yeah, like is there one that you just like if it wasn't a curse word, you would be like, this is a nice word to say. I like the way the syllables come out.
No.
Yeah. You don't like like fuck, like if that wasn't a curse
Oh my
word
god.
and you
No,
were just like
I actually
fuck.
I actually have a strong opinion. I think that that's regardless of meaning and like what our society places on like it being, quote unquote the worst curse word. I think that it is a gross sounding word, and I
Mm,
actually have had very long arguments with my brother about the usage of it in music. Right,
mm.
starting a couple albums ago, Taylor Swift has started cursing in her songs,
Oh
and
no.
she started saying the F word, and she'll typically for most of them she'll release like a clean version that doesn't have the strong language, and sometimes they just like bleep out the letter, the word, but sometimes she replaces it with a different word. There's one lyric, it goes like, what a shame that she's effed in the head, and then the
Mm,
alternative clear lyric is, what a shame that she's stuck in her head,
mm,
and things like that. One of them was like, it's like snow on the beach, weird but effing beautiful, and then they replaced that with it's like snow at the beach, weird but it was beautiful. And I
mm,
always think that the cleaner version is better because the F word just sounds gross to say. Like the ugh sound, right? Like in muck, right? Like it's just a
mm,
gross sound that comes out of your mouth like you're coughing up phlegm. And so if you're listening to music and something that's supposed to be poetic, right? And in my opinion, I place a lot of value on using the human voice as an instrument in songs. I
mm.
just think that if you're going out of your way to say that word, you're lowering the quality of the song because it just sounds gross. And I'm listening to the song to hear something that sounds nice.
Mm. I mean, that is an opinion.
That is the correct opinion.
That is an opinion. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna try and convince you out of that or anything. So as for mine, I think it might be fuck. Uh, I controversially, apparently,
hmm
do like the sounding of it.
Okay.
Um, it's just like a very nice like it fits it it's the all rounder of curse words,
Oh my
like
god.
yeah, if to compare this to video games, right? Someone, if you had a class, like maybe they're more focused on damage or more support, and then you have your all rounder, which is fuck. It's kind of like an exclamation mark, but you can also add it to other words to make it hit different. It does any and every job that you want it to, and I also kind of like the uck sounds. Like, I think puck is like a fun word. Like, oh, they hit the puck and now it's going off into the rink. Um,
I don't know. I just so strongly agree. It just sounds like
oh,
the
you
the
agree?
no. I strongly oh
Yes,
my god, I said agree. No. I okay,
yes.
okay.
Okay, there we go. We finally agree on something.
Those
Yay,
cancel out.
definitely.
Your mistake and my mistake cancel out. So now there's no winner.
Uh huh. Oh,
No.
interesting. Interesting.
No, I just disagree. I just think it's like a gross sound. Like again in the word muck, right? There's a reason that it's called that.
Well, I mean, that's it. I mean, words just kind of have to exist to an extent. I don't think someone saw muck and was like, oh, yes, let me put a gross phonetic sound to this gross visual.
I don't know.
I think
Maybe.
they just went like here's a word, let's go.
A lot of words
Uh,
are like, originate with some sort of phonetic expression of like what the thing is.
sure. I will say my runner-up for uh favorite curse word is bitch.
Hmm.
Uh, I cannot deny the time when I was a child and I had a girl dog, and the amount of times that I would be like, that bitch. And my parents would be like, what are you saying? And I'd be like, because she's a girl dog. And then that's what a bitch is. And I did words. And they were like, shut up.
Yeah.
Quit trying to work around it. And I was like, yes, okay, sorry.
Oh my god.
Um, but it's also kind of like, to me at least, I try not to use it for talking to like two or women because it can has different meanings, but to me, like, in the way that people call other people dude,
Mm-hmm.
like I would use bitch as like an explicative version of that, of like, yo, I don't know, you're a bitch. But in a loving way.
A loving way.
A loving way.
Okay.
Fuck is number one though.
Okay.
I don't know if you could tell, but I've been trying to wean myself off of the curse words, and Sophie's wrapped me back in.
we label all of these episodes as like explicit, even though
Explicit, yeah,
we never talk about anything that's like inappropriate, just because occasionally you'll let out an F-bomb,
yeah,
and like
yeah.
that's
I'd
literally
rather
the
be
only
safe
reason.
than sorry.
Yeah. Um I don't know. A lot of people I work with definitely have their favorites, although typically it comes down to not curse words but slurs that they enjoy, which I think is a
Ah,
different category of thing.
I
Um,
I would also say that.
yeah, I like when I say, "Oh, the F word's the worst curse word." Like we're not including slurs in that category. I think it's a very different thing. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I've had to in several staff meetings be like, "Guys, just because you belong to a certain ethnic group does not mean you're allowed to say certain words, because if a customer
Mm,
hears you and they're upset, that's going to be much worse than if you just say the F word, so please stop."
yeah.
A lot of the a lot of the Hispanic people that work there really like calling each other a word that starts with the letter B.
Gringos?
That starts with the letter B.
Oh,
And I just have to be like, guys, you can't say that. Please stop.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, we're gonna answer Sophia's next question. Let me pull it up. Um,
Dang.
this one is also only for you, as all of the other questions have been, because I already answered them.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
yes, so it's Eric. When are you setting up your YouTube channel?
No way. I refuse to believe that.
No, it really is.
No, no, you're not sharing the letter. I refuse to believe that's on
Look
there.
at it. It's right here. Let me just show it to you real quick. There you go.
I thought there had
I just showed it to you. What's it look like? Do you want to read it for all the nice people?
That's so weird. It's written in invisible ink. Oh my
No, no.
gosh. That's so quirky, crazy. I thought there had been too many episodes without you saying anything.
For context at people at home, me and Eric have to sit across the fire from each other, and we use a magical spell that allows us to cordlessly communicate. So unlike back in the day when you'd have to run a cord between two tin cans or between phones, we no longer use cords to communicate. So we are uncorded, we are discorded. So I shared the letter with Eric over Discord, so that he could read it, and he is now refusing to acknowledge that I sent it to him.
It's so weird. I don't even have a message.
It in fact very much is Eric when you setting up your YouTube channel.
uh, you know, you know, you know. That's a great question. I love great questions. Great questions deserve great responses. So to really ask something so deep and like really to hit home with it, like, you truly have to respond back with something on equal footing. Because if you don't, what does that say about you and your character? Right. And the fact that so many people this day and age can like receive a question and just try to ignore it or play it off or just blatantly not answer it, is too much of a cry for help in our society, perhaps. They refuse to acknowledge the deeper meanings in themselves or others, perhaps. And it's a shame, and in the most basic form of the at the core of it, because people just have this, whatever emotion they're feeling, and that's their response, is to do those various things. And I think that says a lot about a person.
All right, I think
So this has been a great
I
episode.
vote for an entire hour-long episode of Eric trying to filibuster something because that was wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay, we do have one last question, and then we can wrap up.
Damn it.
It's not
Oh,
about
damn,
you.
it's so good. It's so good. Damn it, my take bitch. I don't know, man. Oh, that just was so satisfying.
You should feel proud. So last question from Sophie. What color is the egg crate that the male lands in? I imagine it to be faded by the sun apple green, but I'd like to know what it actually is.
It's
So,
just, I mean,
yeah, I mean, so both of us, just in case you guys don't know, Eric rigged up a system of pulleys and levers so that an egg crate sits at the top of the bridge, and so the mailman can drop letters into it. Sometimes they send it by message in the bottle. One time we got it airdropped to us. That was very nice. But
sometimes they come down through the river.
yeah, yeah. I would consider it more of like a rusty red color, but me and Eric have different vision colors, so I'd be curious what he.
Well, I think, I guess you couldn't tell, which is fine. Not that, I wasn't trying to set you up for anything. I try to have the egg crate change color based on like who puts the message in. So that way, if it's like from See Me, the sea monster, I'm like, hey, that's for me. And if it's from the mailman, it's the color you described.
It's
Your
blood red because I hate the mailman.
well, and then if they just get like airdropped, it's usually kind of like a translucent-esque color, so that way it can avoid being detected from other flying creatures.
Yeah, and it's actually really
Um,
funny. One time we were watching it like slowly parachute down, and a bird just ran right into it, just flew right into it because it couldn't see it.
yeah, and then we had to hurry and catch it because the parachute got destroyed,
Got tangled by
and we
this
bumped
hawk.
into each other.
But hey, free hawk.
Free hawk. The hawk is fine, but we took care of the hawk. We've released it. He's good now. Um,
He's
but
good now.
I think default color wise, if I didn't add anything to it, it'd be kind of like a sickly beige, if you will. So like I could kind of see what Sophie was envisioning.
Like when you picked it up from the store, it was like a sickly beige.
Yeah, like it was beige. It had spent some time in the sun and the dumpster, maybe not. Who's it
Who knows anymore? Who knows where you may have liberated this crate from?
who's to say? No one's to say.
No one's to say.
Not
Just like no
anymore.
one will be saying anything on this podcast in 30 seconds because the episode's over.
Wow. Well, this has been a delight. I hope, Sophie, you gained everything you wanted out of your questions. And thanks for sending so many, so that way the dragon had to let some slip by.
Yeah, and if you guys want to send in any questions to the show, you can always send them into slapendipity@gmail.com.
Beautiful. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye!